Kyle reviewed. Like and subscribe.
Hey guys, we got some news here that there's a spinoff from Supergirl for Martian Manhunter. Now this is interesting. Now it's coming from We Got This Covered, so it's probably not going to happen. I know this site really just does like weird articles and stuff that never get picked up by the other sites. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go. They always get scoops on things way before anyone else does. But then most of this stuff never gets picked up by any other article running site like at all. So we'll have to wait and see. But I just figured it's a fun story to make a video about. So let's see. So I think the idea could be interesting. It's just I don't feel like they've set this up yet on the show. So we've got this covered. They're saying that they've got this information by their sources. The same with Tom Welling was going to returning for Crisis on Infinite Earth, which they had that they said that way before he even signed it, and even Mark Guggenheim even responded to it. I don't know if it's this site or one of these sites like this who post somewhat outlandish articles sometimes. He pretty much said you couldn't have had the scoop for this months ago. We didn't even sign him on for it, so we only approached him now. So it's like we'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go. But that their source is saying that a Martian Manhunter show is in the works. Our initial points to this beginning a direction of the spinoff of Supergirl, to what David Allen is expected to return as John Jones. And if it goes ahead, interestingly, through the show may not end up on CW, which is typically home of the Arrowverse. We've been told that it could later, but apparently the HBO Max service is also an option. So we'll have to wait and see where things go. That could be interesting, especially because he's okay. The way they do Martian Manhunter and Supergirl, it's okay. The CGI could get a lot better for Martian Manhunter. It's passable on CW. It's just the setups and the way things are going. I don't see CW really wanting to do that. There's been very much CW and other parts of Warner Brothers not talking to each other, pretty much being as if they're not owned by the same company, especially when it was CW, when Supergirl was actually on CBS and they had to do a crossover, and it was very difficult to get that done. And they only did that later on to the season once they realized, it's not doing as well as we are. Let's connect it to that, see how the ratings jump, and see what happens, right? And maybe the ratings went up for that one episode, but it wasn't enough to keep for CBS to keep it on. But the ratings were okay for CW. That's why it went over. So we'll have to wait and see where things go. Right now, based on where they're going, I think we're episode 2 or 3 of season 5 of Supergirl, the current season. And there's no talk. The way things are setting up, they've really haven't really done much with him. They haven't. They took him out of the DEO, which kind of took the character away, and it was going to be an interesting idea, but they never did anything with it. They had his father's storyline, but there's never been a really good storyline. I haven't feel like I've been able to sink my teeth into the character of John Jones on Supergirl. He was much better when he was, and he was leading the DEO and really heavily into Kara's storyline all the time and being a part of, fighting the bad guys and all that stuff. Whereas now they've taken him out of the DEO, so he has his own storylines, and then he tries to help with, fight the bad because he has powers, but that's it. And he's just kind of doing his own stuff that really kind of get boring to me, and they're just not really interesting. So, because he's not linked into the DEO, that could be interesting to spin him off into his own show. But I think you'd have to for him to have his own show, you'd pretty much have to. We'll see where Crisis ends up, and if it ends up, taking all these other different Earths and crashing into one Earth, you could say that he ends up going into his own city within the Earth and doing his own stuff. That could be something interesting, and maybe a shorter budget. I've always said that these shows, these seasons should just cut down into 10 episodes. So what I'd love to see is all these shows just cut from 20 episodes to 10 episodes, and with so that each episode can get double the budget, better the CGI, and then you put that out on CW or wherever, and just have better, more concise episodes, because it seems like sometimes the CGI and writing is sometimes a bit better on Black Lightning, but it doesn't quite have double the budget per episode as the other CW does. And we'll see where things go with Arrow. And it seems like they might do that, double the budget, because so far it seems very good with one episode of season 8 out already. But at the same time, they do have this crisis coming up, so it's like whatever the other half of Arrow is that budget's probably going to go towards crisis rather than just going towards the first 10 episodes of Arrow. So we'll have to wait and see as to where things kind of go with this. I feel like it's probably way too early on. If things happen like this, as far as it's only episode like 2 or 3, so we're way too early to see as to where things go with the story for John Jones this season. But it doesn't seem like there's any hint towards that story-wise. So I'll have to take it as a grain of salt if this goes anywhere. But I wouldn't really hold my breath for a show like this, especially if they canceled, Swamp Thing over on DC Universe for that being too expensive. I don't know how this would work there. I mean, it could, but we'll have to wait and see. So let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comments below. Would you want to see a John Jones spinoff show? I really wouldn't be that interested in that, just because I'm kind of lost interest with the character, especially how they've been using him for the last few seasons since he left the DEO. So they'd have to change him up completely, and especially if he goes over to HBO Max or outside of the CW and different writers, they could be an interesting scene to ever take. But using the same character with different writers, I don't know how that would work, but we'll have to wait and see. So let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comments below. Do you want to see a spin-off show with Martian Manhunter? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Okay, Kyle has a YouTube channel called Kyle Reviewed. It's about Marvel and DC. I happen to know a little bit about DC since my initials are DC. All right, so if you like Kyle's interviews and videos and reviews and everything like that, then like and subscribe. If you don't like them, well, maybe you're just not a comic book fan.